Good morning. Yes, I'm back. I thought I would leave you with a bit of the headlines from the August issue of Druthers. And yes, August 2022. You can always go to www.druthers.net. Okay? Covering news and information that mainstream media won't. Please read and then pass this paper along to someone else when done, instead of just tossing it in the garbage or ripping it up, right? All right. So anyway, here's the front page. Our food supply is under attack. This took me a moment. I actually thought these were like sautéed mushrooms, but no. I believe they're crickets. I actually left one of these at A&W the other day, so that was perfect. All right, you guys. Ready to eat the bugs, you guys? Let's read this poll. Support for vaccine passports has collapsed by Spencer Fernando. A mere 25% support continued vaccine passports, down from 70% last year. Canadians have shifted their views dramatically when it comes to vaccine passports. According to a new Angus Reid survey, just 25%. Who are these people? That's what I'd like to know. Of Canadians want vaccine passports to continue. To get a sense of the shift, 70% supported them in September of 2021. Yes, and I know that all too well because we went down to Yaletown and protested these vaccine passports. Hey, Camille! In front of the Earls and other various restaurants in Yaletown. Anyways, support for mask mandates has also dropped dramatically from a height of 86% support in November 2020 to 72% in February 2022. Just over half, 51%, support mask mandates now. Social pressure. There was clearly an element of social pressure involved in previous surveys. We all knew that many people were claiming to support restrictions and mandates because they thought it's what everyone else was doing, even as many didn't personally follow the policies they claimed to support. Now there is an increasing convergence between what people actually feel and how they are answering surveys due to the fear-based environment having lessened somewhat, despite Liberal government attempts to keep it going. Of note, while 51% respondents say they would support mask mandates, 54% say they rarely or never wear a mask indoors around others. 17% say sometimes, leaving just 29% who wear a mask indoors all the time or most of the time. Support for travel restrictions is even lower as Canadians move on, with the Liberals still mulling over continued travel restrictions. Like the dipshits they are, just 14% of Canadians want travel restrictions brought back. Clearly, Canadians are moving on from the quote-unquote pandemic mindset. People recognize that there is still risk, but that risk must be managed on the individual level, with each of us choosing the level of risk we are comfortable with. The government shouldn't be making those decisions. Unfortunately, the authoritarian Trudeau Liberals remain addicted to the power that pandemic fear enabled them to grab and are unwilling to give it up. They continue to do everything they can to perpetuate the fear-based mindset and continually muse about reimposing draconian restrictions in the supposed next wave. Further, the Liberals have reimposed random testing at airports. Have they? Oh, are you kidding me? Oh, Jesus. Anyway, and previous vaccine mandates have contributed to a large-scale loss of staff that has caused extensive travel chaos. As if that's not enough, the Liberals continue to push the ArriveCan app and are making it permanent. Oh, really? This is news to me. The clearest example yet of how corrupt authoritarians will use a temporary crisis, which was never a crisis, to push for a long-term assault on our rights and freedoms, with Canadians moving on while the Liberals refuse to do so. The only thing that will get Canada fully back to normal is for the Liberals to be defeated and removed from power entirely. Well, the Conservatives aren't much better, all right? Just going to say that. Okay, here we go, you guys. 30 messages that turned out to be false by Ted Coons of vaccinechoicecanada.com. 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Remember that, you guys? 2 weeks to flatten the curve. Yes, and here we are 2.5 years later. Hey, Donal. Thanks, Camille, for tuning in. Okay, number 2, safe and effective. Number 3, a vaccine is the only way out of this pandemic. Number 4, we follow the science. Number 5, get quaccinated, save grandma. Number 6, boost your immunity and your community. Yeah, don't just do it for yourself, you guys. Got to think of others. Got to do it for your community. You got to do it for your employees, your fellow colleagues. Oh, where am I? Boost your immunity and your community. Number 7, vaccines are the most effective way to strengthen immune response. Lies, lies, lies. Number 8, COVID vaccines have been rigorously tested and are safe. Number 9, help protect yourself and those you love. Number 10, boosters are the most effective way to restore your immunity. 11, evidence-based. 12, 2 shots and done. Yeah, right. And in Quebec, they're on to their 5th one now, aren't they? Number 5. What's that guy's name out there? I don't even know his name. Anyway, I saw a picture of him getting boosted, apparently. Number 5. Boosters are the most evidence-based. 2 shots and done. Masks work. Social distancing works. Number 15, lockdowns work. 16, stay home. There is no early treatment. Right. Number 17, everyone is at risk. 18, fact checked. 19, restrictions have been lifted. 20, for your own safety. It's for your own safety, you guys. Stay safe. Safe. Are you safe? Be safe out there. Safety first. Oh my God. Number 21, getting quaccinated is free. Yeah, that should have been the first red flag, right? It's free, easy, and safe. Number 22, ivermectin does not reduce the risk of COVID. Ivermectin is just paste for horses. Yeah, remember that one? Number 24, Public Health Agency of Canada closely monitors the safety of C-19 vaccines. 25, your government cares about your health. Yeah, as they bomb countries around the world. Well, they help to bomb other countries around the world. Where am I? Your government cares about your health. Number 26, fringe minority. 27, the Charter is the supreme law of Canada. 28, land of the free, home of the brave. Number 29, we are fully committed to maintaining accuracy, integrity, balance, impartiality, and fairness in our journalism. Canadian Broadcast Corporation. Oh, that's funny. Number 30, we are all in this together. Yeah. Sure we are. Okay, you guys. Here's one, The Invisible War. We're 2 years into World War III, yet most people are unaware. This is by Guy Crittenden. If you're not following him on Facebook, go check him out. He's great. He's from Ontario, back east. He was also living in Mexico there for a while, but I think he's back in Canada now. Yeah, the Dutch farmers' protest and the war on food. We've got Army vet James Topp marches for freedom. Moving right along. Is it anti-Semitic to compare the policies of COVID with the policies of Nazi Germany? Here's one, you guys. I think I should read this one a little bit. Of 29 pregnant women that received Pfizer's C19 inoculation, only one had a baby that lived. This is by Dr. Byram Bridle. I'll just skim through this, you guys. The United States Food and Drug Admin had requested 75 flipping years to release the documents that they reviewed from Pfizer prior to issuing emergency use authorization for the Pfizer vaccine against SARS-CoV-2, which can cause COVID-19. However, a judge overruled this. Well, thank God for that. And issued a court order that the documents be released in large monthly installments. Today, an absolutely shocking set of data was brought to my attention. They are not new. They are from a document that was in the data dump released back in May of this year. However, I want to help my fellow scientists in making sure that this science gets widely distributed throughout the world. This is for the sake of fully informed consent, something that regulatory agencies, public health officials, and too many physicians seem to have abandoned over the past couple of years. For a long time, I have been arguing that our children need to be left out of the massive conflicts over the science underpinning C19. In my opinion, adults can conduct their own risk-benefit analysis regarding whether they want to receive one of the current C19 inoculations. However, far too many adults are making these decisions based on pseudoscience, data from flawed studies, misinformation, and outright disinformation being propagated by physicians and public health officials, many of whom are unqualified to opine on anything in the field of vaccinology. I have never felt comfortable about these injections being used in children, adolescents, and young adults of childbearing age. This was the precise terminology I used in a parent's guide to C19 vaccines that I wrote more than 1 year ago. The highest quality data for assessing a novel medical product are derived from clinical studies. This is because these types of experiments in people are typically well controlled and include what is known as active monitoring. Okay, guys, I won't bore you the whole thing. Let's get to the conclusion. Hang on, wait. Blah, 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 blah. Let's see. The data in this document were accumulated up until February 28th, 2021. Notably on page 9, safety concerns based on the U.S. Pharmacovigilance plan included missing information on use in pregnancy and lactation. The data that had accumulated up to the end of February 2021 were from too small of a sample, i.e. of pregnant or lactating women, to justify its use in these populations. However, here are the data that were available at that time regarding outcomes in pregnant women that had received Pfizer's C19 inoculation. This is quoted from the top of table 6. Okay. Known outcomes of pregnancies exposed. Look at this. Spontaneous abortion. Look at that. Right there. Unbelievable. And here we had good old Bonnie telling pregnant women to, oh yes, it's safe and effective. Roll up your sleeves, ladies. Roll up your sleeves. Right? Unreal. 270 mother cases and 4 fetus baby cases representing 270 unique pregnancies. The 4 fetus baby cases were linked to 3 mother cases. 1 mother case involved twins. Pregnancy outcomes for the 270 pregnancies were reported as spontaneous abortion 23, outcome pending 5, premature birth with neonatal death, spontaneous abortion with intrauterine death 2 each, spontaneous abortion with neonatal death, and normal outcome 1 each. No outcome was provided for 238 pregnancies. Note that 2 different outcomes were reported for each twin, and both were counted. Apparently, outcomes will never be known for 88%, 238 out of the 270 of the pregnancies. Why was the follow-up rate in these cases so abysmal? NutriTruth has a great graph on their website that summarizes the results from cases for which follow-up data were available. It appears that data would be available for 5 of the pregnancies, but these outcomes were still unknown at the time that Pfizer's document was written. As such, there is solid data available from 29 pregnancies. 1 out of 29 of these pregnancies resulted in a normal outcome. This means that 28 out of the 29 babies died. That is a 97% death rate. I don't care which trustworthy data set you look at to determine a background death rate. None of them come close to 97%. Spontaneous abortions are more common than many people appreciate. But again, they are nowhere near the rate in this study. Even in the case of the normal outcome, this means there was an apparently healthy baby. However, one cannot be certain that the outcome was normal until the baby has had all of their physiological systems fully mature, which means early adulthood. I've looked at Pfizer's preclinical reproductive toxicity data, and they are fatally flawed. Issues included, quote, vaccinating the females only. Apparently, it was forgotten that it takes two to tango. Also, the rodent models that were used expressed the low affinity version of the receptor for the spike protein encoded by the quote-unquote vaccines. People express the high affinity receptor. This means the rodent models aren't capable of revealing toxicities that might be associated with the spike protein. In short, the preclinical studies could provide no assurance whatsoever that Pfizer's vaccine would be safe in the context of pregnancy. Now there is proof that data were in the hands of regulatory agencies that suggested the potential for a 97% fatality rate for babies from quote-unquote vaccinated women. I have collaborated with scientists and physicians about the post-rollout real-world studies on pregnancy and the C19 shots. They are highly flawed. I co-authored a paper about this, but have yet to find an editor that will even allow it to undergo peer review. I have had no problems with this for any of my cancer or basic virology-focused papers. Again, this is Dr. Byram Bridle. This is who I'm reading, okay? There you go. Where am I there? Blah, blah, blah. I have had no problems with this for any of my cancer or basic virology-focused papers. Regardless, many other reputable scientists and physicians have been addressing this. Further, these real-world studies should never have been authorized based on the data presented here. Many countries have pushed Pfizer's C19 vaccine on pregnant women, including Canada. All of our public health officers were pushing this. Theresa Tam, they're going down, man. They're going down. Can't wait. Often via mandates. This was done with the full blessing of their societies. For obstetrics and gynecology, are obstetricians and gynecologists going to continue to make these recommendations with these data in hand? At the end of the day, couples experiencing pregnancies or who wish to do so must make it their own responsibility to educate themselves to facilitate fully informed consent. Too many obstetricians and gynecologists are either too superficially trained in the immunological subdiscipline of vaccinology, or are too afraid of contradicting a narrative for which dissent is punished. Some physicians are starting to speak up about this. Unfortunately, their singular personal observations are simply deemed anecdotal. However, as a scientist, I have been trained to observe the cumulative nature of these reports, to not dismiss them out of hand, and to use them to formulate legitimate scientific questions. If you or your baby have experienced any issues post-inoculation, please report these to your physician. They are obligated to submit an adverse event report without opining on whether or not they think it might or might not be related. The accumulation of these reports is the only way scientists can help identify safety signals during a public rollout of a novel medical product. And I heard the other day we reached 50,000 in Canada. Official adverse events on our CARES website, I guess, okay? CAERS. 50,000 we reached. And those are the only ones that have been reported. What about all the unofficial ones, right? Okay, a 97% death rate among babies from pregnant mothers that were quote-unquote vaccinated is appalling. And this was from Pfizer's own clinical trial data. This suggests a massive breakdown in the health regulatory process. The public, whom health regulatory agencies are to be serving, should demand accountability from these government-run institutions. If I were a regulatory scientist assessing the pregnancy outcome data from Pfizer, there is no way that I would ever have supported the use of their inoculation in pregnant women. And I would never have allowed real-world data from flawed studies to replace proper preclinical and clinical trials, nor would I remain silent about this knowledge. Regulators who know better need to start speaking up. And so that's that, you guys. Dr. Bridle is an associate professor of viral immunology in the Department of Pathobiology at the University of Guelph. You may follow his work at... There you go, you guys. Yeah, and wasn't he the dude that received death threats for speaking out against the narrative? Death threats. Unbelievable. Just trying to get the truth out, just trying to actually save lives, right? He gets death threats. Unbelievable. Government-funded school pamphlet calls Canada's red ensign a hate symbol. Oh, really? Okay. C-19 is worse than useless, maybe deadly. Free to fly. Blah, blah. Okay, news from around the world, you guys. Vatican issues coins related to vaccines and war in Ukraine. Ukrainian court permanently bans opposition party. Yeah, we've already heard this. President of Ireland links massacre of Christians in Nigeria to climate change. What? Spanish pharma president caught falsifying jab status. Okay, and let's go to the back. Of course, my favorite part is the Absurdity Observer. Some of the most absurd things that have happened in recent weeks. Quadruple this is so funny. Quadruple vaccinated Joe Biden experiences symptoms and tests positive for C-19. It was nearly exactly 1 year ago when Biden announced that you are not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. Oh my goodness. Article titled, Increasing SARS-CoV-2 Cases, Hospitalizations, and Deaths Among the Vaxxed, finds the vaccine effectiveness for the third dose was negative since December 20th, 2021. Negative, with significantly increased proportion of SARS-CoV-2 cases, hospitalizations, and deaths among the vaccinated, and a decreased proportion of cases, hospitalizations, and deaths among the unvaxxed. Well, so when we say that they're actually telling you the opposite, like believe what they tell you is don't believe what they say. Anything they say, it's the actual opposite. We're not wrong, right? We're not wrong, because when they were saying it was it's the pandemic of the unvaxxed, it's actually a pandemic of the vaxxed, right? So we're right in telling you it's the exact opposite of what they're telling you in the news. Let's see. Shortly after, alternative news sources like Druthers published that Ontario Public Health's data was showing an alarming trend of the triple vaccinated getting C-19 at rates of more than double that of the not fully vaxxed. Ontario Public Health removed publicly accessible data on the vaccination status and COVID positivity status of Ontarians. Yeah, they don't want you to see it. Article titled, Duration of Immune Protection of SARS-CoV-2 Natural Infection Against Reinfection in Qatar finds that the effectiveness of primary infection against severe, critical, or fatal C-19 reinfection was 97.3%, irrespective of the variant of infection or reinfection, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, okay, I think I'm getting low battery. Anybody watching? Oops. Continue. Am I still on? Okay. Tens of thousands of farmers have gathered from all across the Netherlands. To protest government policies that are deliberately shrinking the farming sector, impacting the livelihood of thousands of farmers and the food supply of literally hundreds of millions of people. Meanwhile, here in Canada, the same climate crisis playbook is being used, perhaps in an attempt to have farms fail, allow for land to be purchased by billionaires, and control the food supply. Trudeau instigated a 30% fertilizer reduction policy while still allowing glyphosate, the most widely used herbicide in Canada, to poison our country. Yeah, that's how much Trudeau cares about us. A new UN report shows that a record 345 million people are acutely hungry and are marching to the brink of starvation. In early 2020, before the C-19 pandemic, the figure was 135 million. Holy shit. Agriculture and Agri-Food Canada announced that the federal government is investing up to $8.5 million into what will be the world's largest cricket production facility. The government said the investment to Aspire in London, Ontario, was to support the building of a commercial facility to produce cricket protein. Yep, eat your crickets, you guys. Get your crickets. 3 young doctors working at Trillium Health in Mississauga, Ontario, die of sudden and unexpected causes. I've heard that this number just keeps going up and up. Isn't it up to like 12 or 15 now? Doctors? I'll have to check on that. But yeah, they're dying of sudden sudden death for all these doctors over the course of just 1 week. The same week, a marathon runner and well-known doctor at a different hospital, also in the Toronto general area, Dr. Hannum, died unexpectedly while out for a morning jog. Oh my God! I won't. Wait a minute. Hang on. There's something about MasterCard. Oh, what happened here? Shit.